What's the Car Talk podcast?
Hello and welcome back to the Car Talk podcast, a show where we talk about the latest car news and transportation opinion. Today's Matty's joining me, obviously, but we also got a special guest, Euan Findlay from...
Special's cutting it.
Yes, special, yes. How are
All
you
they
doing?
could get. Hello, everybody.
No, it
I'm
is.
doing very well.
It really is.
That's good. So we're basically going to be talking about you today, Euan, obviously, because that's what we do now
Great,
when we have guests on. But first, we're going to... Well, actually, first I've got a special announcement. I'm sure if you are a frequent subscriber or viewer of our channel, we've actually rebranded. And I did a video recently talking about what's changed. It's basically just a new name because it's now called Car Culture instead of the Grand Teen. So that's what we're going to refer to it as now, lads, and not the Grand Teen.
That's going to be bloody confusing for you in the first couple of months.
Yes.
It's a bit like when Coke rebranded themselves to New Coke and it just didn't work.
Is that what you're on about when you said, oh, rebrands aren't a best idea, Matty?
Well, yeah, remember when Coca-Cola changed its name to Coke and everyone went mad and they changed the recipe and that? Are you changing the recipe of the Grand Teen?
Well, that's not exactly true, because I mentioned in the video, Matty, because...
Oh, I'm winding you up.
I know what you're like, but...
As per usual.
Yes. We're just changing the name, and that's it. The content is the same. The videos are the same.
You might think I'm being a bit harsh here, viewers, but before we started rolling the cameras, we've got two Southerners here absolutely bashing the North, so, take what you will from it.
Yeah. But before we go up north, let's do the car news. That was rubbish, but...
Don't go up north.
We're going really smooth with the intros, guys. This is going great.
Yes, this is the typical Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's move on to the car news. Does anyone like to start?
I won't start, and I'll tell you why. I've noticed
Oh, for fuck's sake.
with this car news that Bayley talks about all the interesting stuff and new cars that we want to see, and I just don't. So
Here's an electric thing that nobody gives a toss about.
Can you start with some clickbait, please, Bayley? Clickbait cars.
Unfortunately, I haven't got anything very interesting this month because there hasn't been anything interesting this month. But I'll start with the most interesting thing I've got out of the interesting, non-interesting things I have, and that is the Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. It's a new Porsche that we didn't need, but it looks fantastic.
Another waste of like 80 grand.
Yeah, but that's just very Porsche. It's got a huge rear wing and splitter. It looks great. I think it's got the old PDK Porsche gearbox, which is a bit dated now, but still works pretty well.
I'm looking at this. I like this. It looks like a proper roadster.
It's really good, and it's apparently got a really good rating for the driving experience, which is
most Porsches do though. They manage to sort of hit the nail on the head every time.
Yeah, that's why I've sort of grown to like them a bit more now that I'm older and more mature. I've just sort of grown to like Porsches more now.
Yeah, they seem to be on a roll. There's not really many weak ones in their range. As far
No,
as
I mean
they
maybe
are very consistent.
the Cayenne maybe.
Yeah, the sort of SUV ones just kind of to fill the market, though, aren't they? Really.
To bring some much needed in. Well,
Money.
I don't know, much needed. It's Volkswagen Group, isn't it? But I think the Macan is a really good car to drive. It's much more fun than the Cayenne. Yeah, Cayenne.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. It's a bit smaller, isn't it? It's a bit lighter.
Just a little bit. I think it's like a Tiguan size sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, it makes sense because like the Cayenne is the the Touareg, and the Macan is the Tiguan.
How long before they go down to like T-Roc size?
I hope not. A convertible Macan, that'd be next.
Porsche to rival the Nissan Duke.
Bloody hell.
I'd like to see that. Porsche, on the off chance you happen to be watching.
So that's the only interesting part of the news I have today, but I have got other cars. Have you got anything, Matty?
Yes, I will continue with the theme, start with my most interesting bulletin.
Cool.
And the headline here is that Red Romeo readies the electric-only not so interesting, but could be Mito replacement. The interesting thing is that Alpha are finally making something to replace the Mito, the 147, etc.
The one that's been in production for like 20 years.
Exactly, and it's based off a Fiat 500. But this looks much more interesting than the Mito.
Yeah.
I posted a picture in our little exclusive Car Talk, Car Culture Car Talk podcast group chat. And it looks fantastic. Would you agree?
It looks better than the last one, which is an improvement on any ground.
I really like the styling. Actually, it's almost got, well, as you saw the Stelvio front, but also the new, the toenail, the one that we mentioned about a year ago. It's got that very similar light to the front.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
and actually, I really like the rims on it as well. The 4C looking rims.
The Mito has been out since 2008.
Has it? Jesus.
Yes. And it is this new. Oh, it is going to be called the Mito, but it's going to be electric only. And based off the Peugeot E208, which is a really good car actually.
Yeah, it's got some similar like styling to it as well, like the curves and stuff.
The only thing is this Alfa Romeo. I mean, it is unavoidable because it's Stellantis group, but it's going to be associated with not only the E208, it's going to be associated with the Vauxhall Corsa.
Oh, here we go.
Which is the sister of the E208. So it's all very, very keeping it in the family, and it's going to have a 50 kilowatt hour battery and produce 134 bhp.
Good stats, but I can't feel that as you get into your new Alfa Romeo, it's all electric. Just knowing that part of it is shared with a Vauxhall might put a little bit of a downer on it.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, Matty, I was sort of like, oh, really?
It's going to be like the Vauxhall Corsa. Oh, fucking hell. Like, it's just...
One thing I will say, though, I'm quite glad they're keeping with the Mito name, because I feel like, it works with it, and also I don't really want them to get rid of the Mito. I do quite like the Mito a bit.
I do, it just looks too... Because it's just not an Alpha body shell. It is. You can tell when you look at it next to a 500 that it's the same car. Same with the Ford KA.
Whereas this new body shape, I think, looks more like an Alpha, and what the Mito probably should have looked like.
Yeah.
Not a Corsa.
Oh, no. How long before they start just mugging off more of Vauxhall's range as time progresses?
I think that's what everyone's doing, because everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, it's got a bit of Corsa in it," or they're just trying to help them out. But
is that a compliment in the car industry though?
No.
It looks like a car you don't want.
Euan, your turn. Car news.
Oh right, I do have a story. This comes from the reputable news source that is the Daily Mail.
What?
Yeah, really switching it up. A motorist has been handed 5 points and has been fined over £400 for driving too close to a cyclist.
Oh, here we go.
More
cyclists.
I don't know if anybody has seen this or not. It's quite recent. But
I don't read the mail, so...
No, that's true, but... Yeah. It's... A lot of campaigners have been slamming the decision as idiotic. Rightfully so. Cyclists have got far too cocky since the highway code got upgraded. Or,
I agree.
Rewritten.
Daniel's going to love this section of the podcast.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yes. What do you think? That's actually.
What would Daniel Acthouse think about this?
Well, yes, we haven't had Daniel on this series of the podcast yet, but my plan is I haven't consulted Bayley about this, but I want Daniel and his mate Matthew on so we can have a 2-on-2 heated debate, as Mrs. May would say,
cycling.
About cycling and the new highway code.
Just keep me firmly out of that.
Do you know what we should do, Matty? We should have a new section in the podcast called "What Would Daniel Acthouse Think?" And then we just talk about.
What would Daniel Acthouse think?
Yeah, like for this example is a good example. Like this story is what would Daniel Acthouse say, and then we think
I guarantee he
him
would be coming up with something like, right, to be fair, everybody, it's
proper politician. Yeah, I think I think you're onto something there though, because number one, right, we've never had anybody quote a Daily Mail story on the podcast.
I would like to stress to everybody at home, I don't read it, but it's just come up. It was the top story as I clicked it. But also we've never had a real consumer section of the podcast, and
cherry on the top, what would Daniel like the house say? It's highway code, it's modern, everyday motoring. We need to be talking about this on our widespread podcast.
So we should probably consider that. Let us know, viewers and listeners, if you want that to be a thing. Daniel doesn't have a say in that because we're going to do it anyway. But
Daniel, you're in the bin on this one, mate. Sorry.
But please contribute to it, and
please
what
do.
you do. Yeah,
we'll take your very well-formed opinion and shove it in a bin somewhere.
Can I continue with a sort of reoccurring theme again that comes on our podcast that I have been responsible for, and that is cars that have been axed. Now, as it stands, the Ford Mondeo is still available, but apparently the last European one has rolled off the production line. The last Wirral built, which is up north, by the way, Vauxhall Astra has rolled off.
That land?
Yeah, it's the last of Vauxhall Astra in the north has been made. What else? Oh, the Citroen C1, that's gone. But also in the news this week, if I can find it, the Citroen, that big 7-seat Citroen car, that's been axed or will be axed. But they're calling they're not calling it they're calling it the Grand C4 Space Tourer. I thought it was the Picasso.
I thought it was as well. I was about to say, is it the Picasso?
Yeah,
that name.
Space Tourer. Yeah, it's a bit funky, isn't it?
Is Citroen's naming department just how many words can we fit in?
Well, yeah,
probably yes.
Before people start to get a bit confused.
Used to be.
It better have a skylight roof, with all the stars and stuff, because then it would actually fit with the name.
Well, I think they do actually, but
do they?
It used to be quite.
How many cool adventurous words can we fit into this car's name?
Yeah, you're going to be turning on all these middle-aged men who have this vision of putting kayaks on the roof and filling the car with hopefully their own kids and going on adventures and that. Sorry, I'm making jokes like that. I've just watched the Jimmy Savile thing.
Jimmy Savile documentary.
Oh, Jesus. Let's move on before that gets a bit...
before we all get cancelled, should we move this one on?
I'd quite like to talk about a van.
Oh, exciting.
It's a new van from Mercedes. It's called the TClass.
Heard this.
But it's annoying. They should have called it the V-Class, but then I remembered that they've already got a van sort of thing. So that doesn't work. But it looks very modern. It's got a slightly dated interior, but that actually doesn't really matter. It was brought out in some of the comments that I read about the car, or the van, should I say. People were they were saying, it's a van, it's going to be doing van things, so it doesn't really matter if the...
I think the last thing on the conscience of a van driver is the quality of the interior.
Yeah, and it's still up to par. It's still like a 2015 interior, it's got all the touchscreen stuff in there, and it's got all the mood lighting. It's still
passable.
So I've seen this. Is it just... So it's a van, or is it something like a Berlingo as well, with seats in?
I think at the moment it's a van, but it sort of does, like a Renault Kangoo sort of looks to it, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, that's the thing, because I think Mercedes and Renault have some sort of agreement in place, because I know a lot of the tooling for some Mercedes vans and indeed Nissan stuff as well all sort of shares. So
I mean, everyone's just own everyone at the moment, doesn't it, really?
Volkswagen owns half the car industry, so we can pass that one off.
Renault have got Nissan as well.
Renault have got Nissan. They've got Mitsubishi as well, but...
I don't know if you lads noticed, the colour's a bit strange. I hope that's not the standard colour. But actually, answering your question, Matty, that it's sort of like a Berlingo type thing. Yeah, it does look like that, actually, because it's got some windows. It's not like a solid plain
Ford Tornado
rear.
or something. Any other news from...
Yeah, I've got two more bits of news. But have you got anything, Matty, that you want to mention?
I've got a few more bits to rattle through, but does anyone else want to go first? Because I've got a cold.
Matty. Okay, I'll go first.
It's the northern chill.
Yeah, it must be freezing out there, Matty. I mean, it's quite warm down here today. I had the roof down in my car. But yeah, let's talk about the new 7 Series BMW. I don't know what you lads think about it, but I think it looks absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I was going to think of something a bit shorter and a bit more catchy than than terrible.
But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the design team are doing with the grills recently. But it's just why
BMW's design team
like a fish?
seem to be on some sort of drugs.
Yeah,
as far as I can see, because the 1 Series, the grill's too big for it.
It doesn't need that big of a grill.
The X7's the same. It's too big for its own.
But it looks really strange because like the lights are like really thin and tiny on it, which just makes it look...
I think they've started doing it to Minis as well. They've started making the grills massive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, leave them alone.
But if you want to know about the stupid thing, it's got 771 horsepower, which is a bit unnecessary if you ask me. It has a 31-inch 8K display in the interior, which you just don't need. You don't need that. All you need is some dials and a bit of radio.
That is bigger than my Northern telly. 31 inches.
That nice is big. To see the North-South divide going strong this episode.
Well, that's even bigger than my monitor in my room. So you know, and 8K. It's what it is another thing to go wrong, and it's just annoying.
Well,
if you wanted an 8K display, just get a Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
I think though we should be not taking for granted BMW at the minute, because as far as I can see, the new 7 Series runs on petrol and diesel fuel, which, as we know, is on borrowed time.
Fuel source.
It is, but it's on borrowed time according to industry experts and Martin Lewis and people like that. But it's also competing directly with the new BMW iX7, which is a big electric executive, which, if you can't handle the grille of the 7 Series, then don't Google image the iX7.
Boy, you're going to get a bloody good shot when you see the...
BMW iX7.
This is us two now rushing to Google.
Wow!
Yeah.
That is a grill.
I missed 10 seconds ago when I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. I just...
oh, God, no.
Matty, any other bits?
Yes. I missed something out on the cars that have been axed round. It's not an actual car, but it's a body style. What do we all... I mean, this was sad for me, really. But what do we all think of 3-door cars? Because the Ford Fiesta 3-door is going to cease production.
Why?
I don't know, but I'll level with you, right? I love 3-door cars. Most of them look a lot better. Like the 3-door Saxo shits on my 5-door Saxo.
Yeah,
the 3-door 205 shits on my 5-door 205. Like it's just better. Do you know what I mean?
And also, for a performance point of view, they're lighter, aren't they? So it's a no-brainer if you want speed.
It's a styling thing. It's a performance light thing, and you get to stare at the people getting in the back if you ever put anyone in the back and things.
The problem was, though, with my previous car, the Seat Ibiza that I had, my mate decided that it would be funny to take the latch thing that pushes the seat front ways out of the car and just throw out the window.
About that.
That's not... so what I had to do is every time I had to get out and then basically get them through the driver's side, which was really annoying. So that's when I wished I had 5 doors, but then, it does look much better, as you said.
I never had that problem in my last car, so...
Well, that's good then. I don't even have any rear seats, so that's what I've gone for.
Yeah, that's actually a good point for you. I made the mistake of owning a 5-door. Yeah, not good.
I want to talk about a new Audi concept car. I'm pretty sure you guys... I know. I'm pretty sure you guys have probably seen this. Now, I do think Audi's doing pretty well with their electric cars or electric concept cars. But this has kind of swerved my interest a little bit, actually. Well, a lot, should I say.
Yes.
Because it's the new Audi Urban Sphere, which the name already is
Did they get that name from Citroen?
It sounds like one of the rejected Citroen names.
Citroen said you can have that one.
I don't know if you've seen some pictures of it. The doors open like a Rolls Royce. It's got Space Invader seats. It's got an interior heads-up display, which is
around for a while.
Stupid. The steering wheel's obscene, and I don't like it at all in any way. And I'll never drive one ever again.
It's never come into production.
Have they done that Tesla thing where they sort of just make a yoke as the steering wheel? Because I absolutely hate that with a passion.
Sort of. It is still quite rounded, but it's almost like...
It looks awful.
It's awful, isn't it? I don't want to say it. It's terrible looking. It's god-awful is what it is. But anyway, interesting facts about it, which is not very interesting at all. It's got a dual motor setup.
I'm not interested.
I'm glad you said that.
Moving on. I thought we'd get one in this podcast.
I'm so glad you know about that.
I've been keeping track.
You basically beat me to it.
Exactly.
While we're on it, there's also I know you're not interested. Audi will follow up with the Sky Sphere and Grand Sphere concepts as well.
Oh, for God's sake! What is with the sphere stuff?
I don't know.
That car looks like it's out of Cyberpunk.
Yeah. At least if they're electric, though, there'll be less carbon going into the atmosphere.
Oh, for God's sake!
You want me to do some more quickfire? Not interested.
Go on.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Peugeot 208 and 2008 gain minimalist gear selector.
I'm not interested.
And you're not interested. And the new Citroen C3, the new Citroen C3 U targets. That's the name of the model. The U. It targets city car buyers with 12,995 price tag.
What is you about that car?
It's not me at all, no.
No, it's not me at all. I'm not interested.
No, not at all. I actually do have a story, surprisingly. I've got a second one. Somewhere in London, I think it's the Borough of Kensington has been fitting acoustic cameras in certain areas, so people with loud supercars like Lamborghinis and McLarens are getting fined for having
for
these
God's
cars.
sake.
It's been targeting drivers who cause excessive noise with £100 fixed penalty notices.
Honestly, where's that money going, though? It's not going to go into the road, is it?
Boris Johnson, that's where it's going.
Do you know
it just annoys me.
Oh, I've got up this morning, right? I've checked me pay that's gone into me. I've been paid today. I've realised I'm now paying an extra £10 national insurance. I found out that the new Dacia Jogger has only got a 1-star Euro NCAP rating. I've watched the new Jimmy Savile documentary and I feel like shit. And now I've heard this about the Borough of Kensington, wherever that is, and I just feel awful.
Somewhere in London. No one really gives a toss.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, the problem is I drive through Kensington quite a bit for work.
I don't think your Mazda MX-5 is going to be affected.
Yeah, but I have got an exhaust on it and it is slightly loud.
Slightly loud.
Probably feel sorry for it being so old and decrepit.
They'll hit you with.
It's running strong more than your car, Matty, and I'll say that now, and it will break down tomorrow. But anyway,
yours or mine?
That's a good question. But I'll just carry on from that, Euan. That is, I hate the sound of that. Why is this country so against anything?
I seem to be the bearer of all the fixed penalty notices today.
Yeah, I mean, why is the country just so hateful on cars? Like, what's the problem with them? I don't understand.
Even if you guys try to drive into London, you've got a ULEZ charge to contend with.
Yeah. Fun fact, I actually got a penalty the other day for basically not paying congestion because I didn't realise it's in the congestion zone itself because it doesn't tell me when I am. So it was...
It does not just go, surprise, you're in a congestion zone.
I mean, to be fair, I got a really good picture of my car. I'll put it up on the screen. I was quite happy with it. I was happy to pay for it because it was like years I couldn't have got that picture.
That's like an Instagram quality.
It was. But guess how much it was? The fine.
I don't know.
£40.
I have a wild guess. Nope.
No, I'm
£100.
Close.
Oh God.
150.
80.
Oh.
So if I didn't pay it, if I paid that, and if I didn't pay it within 4 weeks, it would go up to £400.
Yeah, that seems logical.
Just take them to court and go, but I drive a Mazda.
I might do that, actually.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's just the way of life at the moment, is paying more fines because, the government like fining
Not only
things.
have you got fines, you've got road tax, you've got car insurance, especially for people in our kind of age bracket.
Car insurance is complete bullshit. It's like me and Matty have had a discussion before on the podcast a few times, and it's like it's just completely corrupt.
Mm-hmm. And that was Car Talk Podcast's watchdog, Euan Findlay.
Join us next month for
wherever the other guest is.
Whatever.
But,
yeah.
Shall we move on to our games, Matty, that we've got for Euan?
Yes.
Now, if you're not familiar with these games, then where have you been? Are you living under the rock? Probably.
Where the bloody hell have you been for the
yes.
last 3 episodes?
We're going to do both games, Euan. So that's Scrap Drive Own, which is like Snog, Marry,
I feel like we should spread
Kill.
these out more, but anyway.
Yeah.
We just we always hit the guests with the games, like one after the other straight away. It's like...
Well, exactly. We've got to catch them off guard, so it makes it more difficult.
Cool.
Genius. And then the second game, obviously, is Autostar, which we have to guess, like, something to do with a celebrity that we give. So, Matty is doing the Scrap Drive Home this week.
Yes.
Do you want to go for it?
Scrap Drive Own, going to give you 3 cars. One you have to scrap, one you have to just drive for the day, and you can have it as a sort of Sunday afternoon car. And the other one you have to own and live with the perils. So... I've obviously been cruel, as usual, like that I am to the guests.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it backfires. But I'm giving you 3 cars that I think that you like.
Oh, shit.
The first one, sticking with the 2022 theme, Nissan Leaf is one option that you have. The other one is a Fiat Panda, and I think I'm going to be cruel there and say it's a Fiat Panda 100 HP.
Obviously.
And the third one is the ye old faithful original Mini. Fire away.
You twat. Oh, God. So it's a Panda, a Leaf, and a Mini. Sorry, Daniel. Scrap the Panda. That was surprisingly quick.
You knew that was coming. You were like, yes, that's going. Straight away.
It's a toss-up between the Leaf and the Mini, to be honest. Oh, Christ.
I know the title of this podcast's definitely going to be Daniel Acterhouse Exposed.
That is a good title. I'm going to be like, cyclist gets, I don't know,
cyclist
justice.
gets knocked over, 4K, gone wrong, cops
Please
call.
don't do that.
Anyway, carry on.
Scrap the Panda, drive the Leaf, and own the Mini.
Yeah, that's a good choice, but I would have done the Leaf and the Panda the other way around. But
oh, right.
That's just
I agree with that, actually. Because it's a Leaf.
There's a lot of Leaves out there. There's not many
bad.
100 HP Pandas. Like, they were limited edition.
That'd be one less if you gave me the choice.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was
a game.
That was a game. The next game is obviously Autostar, which is well, basically it's like a rip-off of Celebrity Brain Crash, but it's not.
I don't die, do I?
No, you don't.
That's not part of it.
So the question I have for you, Ian, is which of these show presenters owns a Nissan Leaf? We're sticking with the Nissan Leaf theme here.
Some of you have watched my latest YouTube video.
Yes,
you can
I
plug
did,
it in a minute.
Exactly. So we got Lorraine Kelly, Holly Willoughby, or Graham Norton.
Oh, God.
So which of those owns a Nissan Leaf? And it's probably the hardest question we've actually had to do, I reckon.
Well, yeah,
I remember listening to this podcast and going, yeah, come on, step the questions up. And now I'm on it, and you've stepped the questions up.
Yeah. No worries.
I would... Jesus. All of them are very likely to own a Nissan Leaf.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is. They're all very...
I don't think any of them really give a shit about cars enough to really sort of...
No. But obviously one of them has a Leaf.
One of them does have a
so.
Nissan Leaf. I'm going to stab a wild guess. Graham Norton.
Is that your final answer?
That is indeed my final answer.
Unfortunately, that is the incorrect answer. You're not through the next
round.
round.
Fuck it.
It was Lorraine Kelly.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which I didn't know either.
Well,
actually, Matty got me that.
Yeah, I was the researcher on this. If you obviously you don't watch Lorraine, but on the show this week, Alison Hammond is giving you the chance to win Lorraine's actual Leaf.
Really?
She's bought a Tesla. No.
Oh, right, okay.
No, that's not true. But Lorraine does have a Nissan Leaf.
I swear no one watches that program. It's all like middle-aged mums who have, I don't know, going through their periods, isn't it?
It's definitely that with
Pretty
Loose
sure.
Women. Like, I accidentally watched Loose Women the other day. Like, I say accidentally, but
I don't think middle-aged women are going through their periods, Bayley. I think it's sort of at the age where that stops.
Oh, it's menopause, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I meant, yeah.
On today's
this is how much I
podcast,
know
menopause.
Yeah, they're definitely not ovulating if they're watching Lorraine.
Oh God.
Should we
This
move
is
on?
taking a turn. Yeah, should we get past the menopause?
Yeah, let's talk about Euan.
Let's talk about me.
Yes.
That sounds really conceited.
So my first question to you is: have you got a girlfriend? No, I'm joking.
What?
It's just
Where is
carry on
this
the women
going?
theme.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
What are the
I
last?
don't know.
What are the little 3 numbers on the back of your credit card?
Well, I suppose. What have you got a question, Matty? We haven't prepared for this,
You
have we?
haven't got a question for our special guest, Euan?
Well, I do, but I want to be polite and give you the first question because I did the car news first. So.
Yeah, well, Bailey's going to mute his mic now and frantically think of some questions.
Who is he?
Yeah, I was prepared for you, Euan.
Yay.
I'll do a little introduction to our guest because he deserves one, you know. So obviously with our podcast, we like to get on some up-and-coming YouTubers and also established YouTubers and whistleblowers like Daniel Acterhouse. And this week is no different. We've got Euan Findlay, who was not only nominated for a Matty's Cars Award back at Christmas time, but he also has his own up-and-coming YouTube channel. Euan's... Is it still called Euan's Auto Archives?
Euan's Auto Archives, yes. It's still... that's going to stick, I think.
Good.
My channel's not going through an identity crisis, unlike some people.
Cheers, yeah.
1-0. But anyway, my question to you, Euan, is because from my observations, YouTube is either really high production sort of things or really shit, like me and Bayley. Mine being the high production Bayley. No, I'm only joking. It's the other way around.
Bloody hell.
But no,
That's 2-0.
No. So obviously I'm rambling, but we need to get to the question. Bailey's is obviously quite high production, and mine is shit. But I feel like with your content, it's what I like to call sort of coffee break content, where you provide bite-sized nuggets of information about interesting things to do with cars.
Yes,
where
I agree.
Bailey chiming in like he knows who the fuck I am.
Yeah,
no, I do.
No, joking.
Where is that stemmed from? And feel free to talk about your background and your first pet's name and everything like that.
I actually don't know how it stemmed. I always knew I wanted to do something on YouTube related to cars, but I never really sort of figured out what. And then I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the channel Big Car. I started watching a couple of his items, and I thought these are great, but they're really long. And obviously for someone like myself who's got a very short attention span, I thought, how can I get like the little good nuggets of information and just sort of slap them into a video? And it wasn't till I stumbled across none other than podcast favourite Daniel Acterhouse himself that I thought, I could do this.
We should just rename the podcast Daniel Acterhouse
The Daniel Acterhouse podcast.
The Daniel Acterhouse Appreciation Podcast.
Yeah. No, it wasn't until I stumbled across his channel that I thought, yeah, you know what, let's give this a try.
There's nothing better on YouTube than, because any of you seen A to B Tales of Modern Motoring?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Oh, so it's basically Bayley. I'll just explain to you and any of the viewers who don't know. But it was a thing in the 90s, very deadpan, very nothing fancy. But they just filmed people at different stages in their lives talking about their cars and driving and doing little pieces to camera, talking about their car and what their car means to them. And it's amazing on YouTube when you see something that you're influenced by and you like and you go, I can do that. So I've made my own version of A to B Tales of Modern Motoring and took influence from it and done the whole format. Basically, it's basically a carbon copy, a pastiche. And but I'm not bothered. Like, I'm really happy with it. And so you've obviously seen Big Car and said I've identified a gap in the market where I'm going to make. Yeah. You should have called it Small Car or Little Car or something.
He's already got the Little Car channel. There's a second one. I was going to
monopolising the market now. You should have called it like Super Mini or something. But yeah, hats off to you. It's great. I guess the next question, if Bailey's still struggling, is what other cars do you think? And I mean, like, cars really interesting that really interest you. But what's sort of the objective to talk about next on the channel? What would you really like to research and cover the history of?
This is sort of letting into it a little bit. I have about 8 scripts in the pipeline.
Amazing.
But
Nice.
I sort of sometimes I stall on them because I'm like, okay, where can I go with this? Because I make it very difficult for myself by picking cars that don't really have an easily researchable background. There's a script for the Audi A2 somewhere in that pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I've done the Mini, and that's coming soon, and that's been in the works since September, which I'll start working on later in the year. But no, there's nothing really in particular that I would want to research about. It's usually what takes my fancy on Auto Trader at the time.
Yes, That's
sort of. So I've got a script for the Ford Ka. I've got the, I think there's one about Skoda somewhere in there.
Well,
so it's literally just random things that I find, and I sort of go, I could make a script out of this.
As 3 car guys on a podcast now, do any of yous get these sort of? We could make this a feature on the podcast as well. This is like a brainstorm, but do anyone get the same as me, like sort of Auto Trader crushes, where you think of a car in your head, you go and see it on Auto Trader, and you go, "That's cheaper than I thought it'd be. I want one. It's only round the corner." You obsess about it. You watch all the Men and Motors videos on it and things like that, and then you just forget about it and move on to something else.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, Bailey, have you thought of a fucking question yet for the poor lad?
Yes, I have.
Go
for
on,
God's sake.
a question.
Well, I suppose. I'm joking. I know. Obviously, you've mentioned Euan that you've sort of been doing it for about a year. Is that right? Like the
coming up
YouTube.
to a year on the 1st of May. Yeah.
That's welcome. Happy anniversary. I suppose so it sort of follows on from Matty's question, like, what's sort of the future of the channel? Like, I know you mentioned like earlier before we started recording, actually, is what would you like consider doing some like branding and logos and stuff like that, and make sort of a brand out of it?
If it becomes bigger than it is, then I might consider it. But
yeah,
obviously I'm still quite a small channel, 66 subscribers strong. But,
65 now.
There we go. Yeah, no. If it gets to maybe, I don't know, 1,000, I might consider it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth doing. I mean, as I said to you earlier as well, you don't need to necessarily have a brand to start with. It's your videos. Like, I've watched a few, and then they are really professional. Like they're like Matty said, they're easy to watch, but also very informative, which I really like.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
it's good to appeal to a lot of
guess
people.
it depends on when the time's right, because like I'm at like 1,000 subscribers now, which I'm happy with, but like I can't imagine a point where I'm ever gonna wake up and go, I'm gonna make merch. Like, I just can't see it at all.
I've never thought that. It's the same thing with paid promotions. I'd consider.
I
maybe.
would, but I couldn't lie to my I've seen, and I know for 100% that the YouTube channel Furious Driving, with how busy his life is and all the things that he has to do, and that I know 100% that when he was promoting Raid Shadow Legends to me, saying there's nothing I'd like to do more than sit
do you
back
know what?
and play.
That's possibly the most unexpected crossover I've ever seen.
Did you see that? He was lying through his teeth. Couldn't
it would be
believe
like Daniel Drives is sponsored by HelloFresh. Like, it's just
unbelievable.
To be fair though, on the topic of that, I would actually I would do.
You'd lie to your audience.
No, I wouldn't lie to. Just stop. It's 3-0 now.
Bullshit
But,
your audience.
it's I would do like paid promotion, but if it's relevant, because like, if you get like Raid Shadow Legends, you'll just be like, yeah, it's money, but it's
if
not
it was
relevant.
a brand I could sort of look at and go, yeah, I can see where this is going.
Like a car, like perfume or something, or like a sticker for a car, that's different.
Yeah.
But like with merch as well, like with obviously our new rebrand, we've actually thought of like the merch that we could do with the rebrand and the new logo. So that is what we're going to consider like in the future, like different, even like stickers and stuff. Like people always buy that shit for their cars.
It's like the Hub Nut stickers, I suppose.
Yeah,
they've managed to spread like wildfire.
Well, yeah, he's a proper brand in himself, isn't he? That Hub Nut guy. Like he'll just release anything, and the fans will just lap it up, and it's not like even like proper, fangirls or adolescence.
I'd love to see a Hobnot fangirl.
I know,
Please imagine that for a second.
You know what I mean? No, it's not like easily influenced people who are going, I must have this. It's actually like, well, you know, people of all ages going, I'm buying the new Hubnut calendar even though it's June. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad.
Yeah, literally.
I've got another question.
Oh,
Go for it.
So you just mentioned earlier that you've had a script in the works or a video in the works since September. That seems pretty long. So obviously you've mentioned off camera that you're studying and things like that. So you've got to work videos around your exams and that. What are you still in school? Are you studying something? What's the goal?
I've no idea. That's the first and foremost. I've no idea what I want to do with my life after I leave college.
No one does.
That's true.
To answer a little bit of that, I do have to sort of try and weave my videos around, my current situation in life, which is, I think, partially why I'm so infrequent, is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on outside this, and this is, obviously part of it, but no, it's obviously very difficult to, because these videos take so damn long.
Yeah, we all know. It takes a whole week.
Oh, no, they really do, because you've got like you'll have like you'll have an video edited, and you're like, I've had that picture on screen for too long. I've got to find something. Especially if you're doing like if it's not a piece to camera sort of thing where it's a narration, like they're even harder to film. But I think we all struggle really, don't we? Because obviously with Bayley, it's a little bit easier because he has a dedicated shoot for a series of the Grand Team. There's my Snapchat. That'll be Raid Shadow. But no, what the point I'm coming on to is that we do all struggle filming, don't we? We've all got lives around it. I think all of us would say we'd love to upload a little bit more. Because it gets the algorithm going as well, doesn't it?
The tricky mistress that is the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I was literally saying to Euan earlier, it's before like
we came on.
I literally had there was the video I uploaded like yesterday, the one talking about the rebrand is, it's like 100 views, and then like the week before it was like 40, and then that Fiat episode that I did was like 2,000 in a month, and it's like, what's going on?
It's tricky, and I seem to have hit the nail on the head at least twice in my 2 out of 4.
Do tell. What did you do?
I don't actually know.
The search results and that, it just favours like big YouTubers. Like if I have this is where I've got to be careful, because I don't want to like proper crush big car YouTubers like Hubnut or anyone, but this is why I like getting.
I drive a classic, cover your ears. Yeah,
this is why I like getting like smaller YouTubers on and pushing them a bit on our podcast that gets similarly low views. But I feel like if I put a car on YouTube that no one's ever reviewed before, and it gets mega thousands of views, which has happened before, and then an IDAC or a Hubnut will come along, review the same car, and then it won't have even matched my views, and they're at the top of the search, and everyone's like, "Ooh, look what they've done." You're like, I was here first, you know what I mean? But anyway, it is what it is, really.
I guess you've also got to tackle, especially with YouTubers, you've got absolute knobs in the comments, and
there's a lot of those.
You wouldn't have been in this. You wouldn't have had skin in the game unless you've had them. I've had a fair share. I remember putting up the Lotus Carlton video, and someone was like, "This is exactly the same as Car Throttle," and I'm like, "It's the same car, you knobhead." What did you expect?
I do get the odd few. I love the ones on my videos.
I've seen you reply to a couple, to be fair.
Yeah, but I love the ones on the videos from when I was 14. I'm like, I can't really argue the point.
It's the effort this person has gone to scroll down, tap on the video as you age 14 reviewing something.
Well, I definitely haven't found it through the algorithm, so. But
I've got a final question for you, Euan.
Go on.
And it's one that I ask every
I'm not Euan.
guest.
Sorry, go on.
It's one that I ask every guest that comes on the podcast, and it is, what is your favourite car of all time?
There's a few.
Yeah, that's the problem, because there's never one, is there? Top three.
My instant reaction is, okay, what category, that kind of thing.
Go on then, what?
Original Mini has to sit at the top.
Yeah.
There's no beat in that. in my eyes.
I do want one of those.
I do as well, but they're very expensive. I actually don't know. Like, what would I put at 2 and 3? To be honest, I don't really have many favourites.
Are you more sort of like supercar, or do you like what Matty likes and his shit boxes and stuff?
I champion the shit box.
Yes.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like, hey, look at this Lamborghini. Cool, but there's a Austin Montego over there I'd rather look at. Like,
The thing is, right, I'm sort of on both sides because I really love my supercars. I mean, I live in a middle class area. There's tons of them and Arabs and shit like that. So there's literally a Koenigsegg garage about 2 minutes from my house, which I go and stare at. And, you know, I've obviously grown up with loads of supercars and movies and shit like that. So I've always been on the side of supercars, but equally I do like my shit boxes as well. I love Japanese, like, old shit boxes.
Is that why you bought the MX-5?
It's not a shit box, but yes.
3-0.
Yeah, that's 4 now.
4.
But yeah, like I've started to get into JDM more. But yeah, so I think that wraps it up, lads, for this podcast. Thanks very much, Euan, for joining us. It's been
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you've been great
been
fun,
a pleasure.
actually, to be fair. There's been a lot of back and
There's
forth banter.
There's a lot behind the scripted persona. That's all.
This is why we have lots of people like you on Euan, because we actually all get along. Whereas there's some people that we don't get on because we don't have the chemistry with them.
Who's
or we
that?
don't think we do. I don't know.
Yeah, let's turn. This is the outro. Who have you had on the podcast that you hate?
No, I'm not going to name and shame them. Everyone we've had on the podcast has been good.
It's about who we've not booked.
Exactly, because we haven't booked them because of the reason that they might not be very
Matt
interesting.
from Furious Driving's on after we've mugged him off for like 5 minutes.
And next week's Daniel Ackerhausen.
Let's get him in one last time.
Yeah. And on that note of Daniel, I think it's time to end. So do you want to plug in your social medias?
If you want to follow me, my Instagram is at Euan Findlay 24, and if you want to subscribe, please do help. It's Euan's Auto Archives. That's all I have.
Excellent. Matty, you go, because I need to think about my new.
You need to remember what your channel name is now.
No, I do remember the channel. I've just got loads of different names for different.
Oh God. If you'd like to see more of me on my own YouTube channel, you can find me on Matty's Cars on YouTube. Similarly, I've got a Matty's Cars YT Instagram page where you can see chod spots and, you know, latest updates and things like that. But if you want to see pictures of me in gentlemen's working clubs, etc., you can follow my personal Instagram, which is matsgram99.
I'll note that.
Fantastic. I don't know how you come up with a new different thing.
I just think about what my latest post was on my personal one and try and sort of work it in.
Is it just you drunk?
Yeah, well,
it's pretty much
it's
him
drunk,
drunk.
Matty. Yeah, it's more than drunk sometimes, but
follow that. That sounds great.
Now your Snapchat ones are better than Matty, because you're always like, "Oh, I'm out again with the boys, and we're having a laugh and stuff."
I don't
a
have
jazz
Matty on
bar or
Snapchat. I
something.
might have to.
It's like Instagram's drunk, Snapchat's recreational drugs, and you know the rest is that's it.
The rest is history.
Well, that's good, Matty. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Incriminating yourself on a podcast.
Oh well,
yes.
You know.
Now we have to go for the painful thing that is my channel. So obviously,
get comfortable, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
If you want to subscribe to us, it's now Car Culture on YouTube.
Who?
You guys need to shut up. It's my bit. Let me finish it. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's carculture_YT, which stands for YouTube. And Instagram, no, I've done Instagram. No, damn it. Jesus. TikTok is Car Culture Club YT. And Twitter, which we never use, is Car Culture Club. But we might start using it now because Elon Musk has just paid for it.
If you're the sort of person that likes recreational arguments, you can find him on Twitter at
yes.
What's your TikTok?
Jokes on Elon though. I got the app for free, so there we are. If you did enjoy this episode of the Car Talk podcast, then obviously follow all of us. You've just heard all about us. And again, thanks Euan for coming on. It's been really great having you on.
It's been a pleasure.
talking about cars and mostly being insulted, which is the norm.
This might be a first.
Yeah, well, it is the first, actually.
Certainly not booking you again.
No, exactly. I was about to say that.
Was I booked?
Well, we more twisted your arm, didn't we?
I sort of had to shoehorn my way in.
Oh yeah, you twisted our arm.
Yeah, I did. Kicking the bollocks to go with it.
Anyway, thanks very much for listening and watching. We'll see you next month. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.